Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to play some more Boyfriend to Death 2. This time we're going to do Lawrence's route. I think we also have Rin's route, which is a secret route to do. But I'm going to start with Rin's route. Oh, Lawrence's route. Let's begin. What's your name? Ryan, of course. I should go out tonight. I flick on my computer. There had to be somewhere open late. You know what? I don't even feel like going out. I shut down the computer. All of these places look like a bad time, or like we'd regret our life choices. I got up and grabbed the ice cream from my freezer. Then I sat down with a spoon, a blanket, and turned on the TV. Time for some movies. You survived. You chilled at home, and it was awesome. Probably one of the best endings. I found out about this. I'm like, I had to. I had to wait 22 minutes, but... Okay, this time we have to go to the jackalope. I decided to head out to the pub. The atmosphere and people were quiet. It almost felt like stepping into the past. Maybe just because this wasn't a single TV. There wasn't a single TV. Just relax. I wasn't in the mood to drink. I just sat by myself and watched a few patrons mill about. Quiet voices and the clicks of glasses on the wood made me feel a little sleepy. I lost track of time and began to doze off a bit. Huh? I fell asleep. I looked around quietly. The bar was empty. Or almost empty. But there was one man left in the corner, hunched over a drink. How long was I asleep? Maybe he knows about what time it is. I got up and approached the man. Hey, sorry to bug you, but you know what time it is? Oh. What's Lawrence? It's almost closing time. It's 1:45 a.m. He seemed like he was preoccupied with something else. Wow, that's really late. Yeah. It was starting to look really uncomfortable. I just waved for my friend. I only wondered about his friend for a moment. Are you talking about Vincent? About Vincent's route. A much shorter guy came out from the bathroom looking very cheerful. Rin! My little baby. Alright, Lawrence, let's... Huh? There's someone else here? We get to do his route later on, but... it's not as intense as he was in the last game. Let's see. There's someone else here? I spun darkly at the redhead. I thought I could flash a panic of his face. I thought I caught a flash of panic on his face before he spoke again. Well, my name's Rin. It's nice to meet you. He looked at me especially. Oh, my name's Ryan. It's nice to meet you too. We all looked at each other for a moment. What's up with these two? Is everything alright, Lawrence? Is everything alright? Okay, we're in? Say nothing. They looked at each other awkwardly for a moment. Then Rin turned to me and smiled. Hey, I know. I could get us around before it closes. Oh, He turned off to the bartender before I could say anything. Then Lawrence followed him. I started after them, confused about the whole situation. Rin must be older than he looks, since the bartender is serving him. He constantly has to show his ID because that's what I have to do. At least last time I went to anything that was over 21. I sat down at their table and kept watching. They were talking to each other quickly and quietly. It almost looked like they were arguing. But then they both returned and smiled. Lawrence set the drinks down in front of each of us. Should we really trust them? Because I think they would spike it. But we're supposed to play the game. One more drink for the night. Your drink, Lawrence's drink, Ren's drink. Oh, we could check a quick one, or refuse any drinks. Drink our drink. What's the worst that could happen? I reached for the drink Lawrence set in front of me. I took a sip. It was a rum and coke and comforting drink. I laxed a bit and I finished it. I looked across the table to my new companions. Lawrence didn't touch his drink. Ren started to look more worried. It's really late. I think I should leave. Wait, you're leaving? Sorry. Ren ran out of the door. Hey, wait! Then Lawrence ran after him. I stood there baffled. Then I shook my head. Those two are really none of my business. I really should be heading home. I grabbed my coat and started out of the pub into the crisp night air. Lawrence and Ren were nowhere in sight. Well, that was weird. I started walking down the sidewalk and felt something tap my shoulder. I jumped, startled, and turned around. It's Lawrence. Ah! He startled me. He seemed to be struggling with what to say. Ren's path split from mine. Better luck next time? What are you talking about? Ignore him. The guy was starting to creep me out. I took a few steps back. Ren was different. I'm sorry. Apology didn't seem to calm him down. What? Before I could react, his fist connected to my face. I stumbled back, my ears ringing. What the? He started walking towards me as I looked back up in panic. He's crazy. Well, what was our first clue? I started running down the street away from him. I stumbled a bit as I tried to run. All the drinks I had earlier in the night were slowing my steps. I kept moving. I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear him behind me. There was an alley to the right. Straight ahead. I kept running past the alley. I slowed slightly to take a look over my shoulder. What? I felt his whole body weight slam into me from behind before I hit the ground. My head cracked on the sidewalk and I fought to stay awake. I could feel him panting with the effort on top of me. Wow. Oh no. Are you okay? Did he not mean to do that? I have a feeling he actually meant to do that, though. My first sensation was panic and dread. I froze, not wanting to move or open my eyes until I could recall what just happened. The next thing I noticed was the smell. Earthly, warm, and something sicky sweet. I tried to identify this familiar smell as I became aware of some sounds. I could hear shuffling and light scraps of metal on wood. It's okay. I'll fix it. I slowly opened my eyes. It'll be easy. Lawrence, what are you talking about? Stay silent. I wasn't sure I should make any sounds. He kept talking to himself quietly. It won't be like last time. Oh, last time? Just stay calm. Oh, you're awake. I gulped and stared at him. Where are we? I started around the room. Some sort of a studio apartment. Okay, you're doing in your apartment. Kane had always had his house in a different dimension. And Vincent was in the bunker. Stride was in the, Stride was in his, basement. Ray will put us in the loop. Okay. It's like, oh, and I can't remember his surname. Oh, he's his lab. There were plants everywhere. Okay, you're probably feeling a little. I tried to move. I couldn't. Hey, calm down. I looked down and saw my arms and legs were tightly taped to a wooden chair. I started to breathe faster and looked back to him. I could fix this. Fix what? Something about this guy seemed off. Unstable. Yeah, what was our first clue? Scream for help. I opened my mouth and screamed as loud as I could. Lawrence leapt forward and clamped his hand over my mouth. Shh. He stared at me hard as I stopped making sounds behind his hand. I need you to be quiet. He slowly removed his hand. Okay. No. Scream again. I took a deep breath to scream again. This time he was faster, slamming one hand over my face and the other around my neck. Oh, no. He pushed his hands harder around my neck. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't make any sound. I can't. He has to be quiet. Quiet. He only squeezed tighter. My vision began to spot as I desperately hoped for him to let go. But he never did. You died. Lawrence made you quiet. Okay, we're gonna go left this time. I ran across the street. Whoa, I didn't see you there. Oh, there's Vincent. I wanted to yell in surprise, but I couldn't seem to move or talk. Oh, he kinda killed us here. And you made a real mess. I noticed my blood glittering on this bike before everything went cold and dark. You died. You didn't look both ways. This time, instead of screaming for help, I'm going to let him explain. I slowly nod, willing him to continue. Well, look, things got a little out of hand. He paused, thinking. I've been talking to Rin for a couple weeks. About what? I know Rin was Stride last game, so about what? You know, on the internet. So I was nervous. He started to fidget. And then you showed up. And Rin left. And I listened quietly, but he trailed off. I shifted uncomfortably, feeling more nervous. And now you're here. I couldn't just leave you there. I pulled slowly on the tape around my wrist, beginning to sweat. He went away. I should never leave the house or the apartment. It's not worth it. All I found was another problem. Oh, we're a problem? Or are you a problem child to you? You have to let me go. I tried to speak with some authority. You can't just leave me here. If you let me go now, I won't tell anyone. At all. Not even the police. Which we should. It'll be like it never happened. You haven't even done anything serious yet. Other than kidnapping. But, to be very good, the worst is stabby. I paused and looked at him. No, it won't. Nothing is ever the same. Time won't stop, and I can't stop. Stop what? Are you gonna do like John, be like John the Homicide Maniac here? He picked up the roll of duct tape on the mouth. Actually, I think I'll take Johnny. I'll take me. You can't stop. You can stop. Listen to me. He tore off a piece and placed it gently over my mouth. I tried to scream through it as he tore off another piece. People are delicate. He smoothed the tape over my nose. Wait, if you're smoothing over my nose, I can't breathe. I looked at him helplessly, panicking, unable to breathe. I barely need to touch you to take away what you need to survive. I struggled as hard as I could, but I was starting to feel dizzy. A little piece of tape. Yeah, I'm probably already dead. Asthmatic here. And your witter in front of me. I stumbled forward, unable to struggle anymore. I started to pass out. I was shocked over myself as he tore off the duct tape from my face. Oh, I would want to torture him now. I wheezed as I took in deep breaths. Oh, I'm gonna be continuing to wheeze. I'm gonna be coughing on him. Like no tomorrow. Because I'll be having a severe asthma attack. So you just do as I say for now. Okay. Yeah, okay. Get knife stab him like I'm Ghostface. He paused and took a deep breath. Ugh. He began to pace around his apartment. You. What am I gonna do with you? Let me go and I will go stabby on you and then go home. It's getting early. I should just rest. I can't think straight right now. I call it self-defense, though. I found myself wondering what time it was. The sun was rising, but I was too frightened to feel tired. You're probably tired, too. You're probably the rune, right? I kept you up all night. Oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Stay silent. I'll just make you some tea. It'll help you sleep. Except the tea. He already had me taped to the chair. What was the point of refusing? Thank you. He started moving somewhere behind me to make the tea. I strained to see what he was doing, but I couldn't turn my head enough. I can't do the out move. I could only try to relax as I heard him quietly clicking objects out of my view. After waiting in silence, looking at his plants, and hearing some kind of humidifier in the room, I began to feel gradually tired. It should be cool enough now. He returned and glanced at my arms, still taped to the chair. Oh. He leaned forward and brought the cup of tea to my lips gently. It was very warm and tasted unfamiliar, but not bad. I tried to drink it fairly quickly, but I began to feel a bit strange about halfway through. Oh, he spiked it. What is this? It's proof. It doesn't take much to change everything. What? This wasn't any normal tea. As I was about to pass out, I finally recognized the sicky, sweet smell. It was him. It smelled like something rotting. Was he a zombie? I opened my eyes. You're awake. I jolted upright in the chair. How long was he watching me? I've had some time to think about it. You. And I can't let you go. He leaned in closer. You understand, right? I understand. I didn't want to upset him. That's a relief. He sighed softly, still hovering over me slightly. I was thinking, you and I could, do a project. What kind of project? A project? This is perfect. He reached out to touch my hair, but moved so gently that I couldn't flinch away. I looked at him questioningly, and he bent to grab a large metal bucket. What do you mean? He placed the bucket in front of my legs with a soft clank. I looked down into the empty bucket, dread tying in my gut. My attention was caught by a glint of a knife in his hand. Run. Oh wait, we're stuck. I want to cry out in fear, but the same dread choked me up as he moved the knife. There what? The pain I was experiencing never came. I looked down. He tore off the cut tape from one of my arms. I looked back at him. Are you letting me go? No. I need to get your blood out. Oh. You drained me of my blood. Are you a vampire? What? It won't hurt. I got some medicine. Medicine, I guess. Just some tea. And you won't feel a thing. Okay, okay. It's like, okay. There's no point of suffering needlessly, I guess. He grabbed the water ball from near his plants. It's not hot or anything. Here. He held the bottle out to me. It looked like some plain water bottle a jogger would have. Happy to finally have the use of my hands again, I took it and held it to my mouth. It tasted bitter and strange. No, not so much. He took the ball from me firmly. Just a little should be enough. I considered answering him, but I was distracted by my fingers beginning to tingle. Oh. The feeling spread incredibly quickly. Oh, we're getting numb. Like falling into a pit full of those cold glass beads people put in the bottom of a fish tank. My whole body was numb. It's poison. There. It'll be easier now. Drink poison. We're not very bright, are we? He held a knife to cut the tape with, turning it over a bit. He was watching the blade when he gripped my wrist tightly. He licked his lips absentmindedly as he gently moved his thumb over my wrist. He was feeling me and concentrating. Then suddenly he stopped and lowered the knife to my skin. Grab the knife. I reflexively grabbed for the knife. What? I managed to take it from his hands. We locked eyes, both of us cackling the situation. He stepped back out of my reach. That frickin' Oh! I bent down quickly to cut the tape around my legs. I got through one as quickly as I could when I felt my head snap back up, pulled by my hair. My words were stopped by a large blade of garden shears on my neck. Drop it. Refuse. I held the knife tightly and braced myself to swipe at him. He held my head back still as blood poured from my throat and mouth. Crap. You died. You were too slow. Firmly refuse. I certainly wasn't going to drink any tea this guy gave me. I'm not going to drink anything. He visibly tensed up. I won't make you sleep. Good. He gave up on talking, threw his sweater and shirt off, and climbed into his bed. Is it morning? I looked down. I sat in a silence only broken by the soft breathing, the quiet human fire in the room, and a random muffled thumps and shouts from other tenants of the building. I realized desperately that even my own cries for help would probably be ignored in a noisy place like this. I suppose my only options are to sleep or try to get out of this chair. Struggle. I pulled out the tape around my wrist. I tried to be quiet, but the tape was too tight. It didn't feel like it was budging at all. Struggle. I need to keep trying. I bit my lip and pulled hard against the tape. I froze when I heard the words turn over. Struggle. My heart was pounding. I have to get out of here. I have to run. I tugged my arm with involuntary grunt. Lawrence made a soft sound in bed. I froze again, sweat beating down my face. Rest. My exhaustion and quiet surroundings were getting to me. Eventually, let my head fall to my chest. I dropped into restless sleep. I slowly opened my eyes. You're awake. I tilted upright in the chair. How long has he been watching me? You're beautiful. I felt my cheeks redden, shocked. Oh, is it getting less deranged? What? His fingers trailed down my neck as he ignored my question. I wasn't looking properly before. You were asleep for a long time. He touched the back of my neck. I need to. I watched as he picked up something from the table and moved quietly behind me. What are you doing? I felt something cold and sharp touch the nape of my neck. My voice rose in panic as I repeated myself. What are you doing? Stop. I love the curve. I whimpered as the sharp pain increased. Of your spine. Is it gonna try to rip my spine out? I desperately tried to look at him. I cried out as movement hurt my neck. Hurt my neck more. He sighed happily as I felt something warm run down my back. Please, what? He placed one hand over my mouth, muffled by the rest of my begging. I groaned into his hand as he cut further down from the back of my neck to between my shoulder blades. I almost took in a whole breath of relief before I felt him push a finger into the opening. Okay, blood. He gripped tighten as it screamed behind his hand as he slid his finger down the open wound of my neck. I was shaking and blood was running down my back now. I could feel it soak my shirt. I want to keep it. His breathed softly right into my ear and moved his hand to rub his fingers around my back of my collar. I imagined it would look like if I was wearing a necklace out of my own blood now. He stepped back into my view as I gulped, beginning to feel lightheaded. I can't let you go. Oh, yeah, I kind of figured. He leaned in closer. You understand, right? I understand what? No, please, at least let me use the bathroom. Yeah, please, just at least let me use the bathroom. I asked him desperately. I didn't want to try to get away, but it was also true. And trust me, if there's a window, I'm going to get in the bathroom. I'm going in. I guess it's okay. My eyes widened. That really worked? I waited patiently as he pulled out a small knife. I'm going to cut the tape. Then, you can use the bathroom. And after, okay, Lisa Lawrence is being nice about it. Vincent, want us to pee on the floor? Just sit back in the chair. Got it? I nod eagerly. Of course! He suddenly cut through the tape. There. Go ahead. I hoisted myself up shakily. He was watching me carefully, still holding that knife. I slipped into the small, dark bathroom and closed the door. Darn it, there's no door. Didn't flicker on the light. I gasped quietly. Even more plants. It's so warm and musty. I sighed, gathering my thoughts. Okay. Freshen up, examine the room, lock the door, leave. Freshen up. Well, as long as I'm here. I used the bathroom and washed up. It helped me feel a little better at least. Examined the room. I looked around the bathroom. I couldn't find anything even close to a weapon. There's no windows either. There's no way out. Well, we could use some stuff for weapons. Does he have salt? Salt. I checked the medicine cabinet. Only a whole bunch of jars and bowls filled with various powders and liquids. I lowered my shoulders and hissed in pain. Maybe there's something in here that can help. Everything looked homemade. Barely anything was labeled, and a few things that had labels were typically scrawled. I eventually picked up two that looked promising. One that was a clear liquid with a bottle labeled numb. And there was a thick, syrupy amber liquid in a jar labeled for pain. Well, I'm gonna be probably the dumb person and go with numb. Numb works too, right? Drink the bottle labeled numb. I narrow my eyes at the bottle. If it hurts less, I can think more clearly. If I can think clearly, maybe I can make it out of here. I popped the bottle off the top of the bottle, half expecting it to be like water. I don't think it's gonna be like water. I was surprised by a strong florally fragrance. Of course, there was no dosage instructions because he made it himself. Pretty much everything for adults is like a tablespoon, though, right? I gather up my courage and take a small sip. It didn't have much of flavor, but after surprisingly short few minutes, my pain began to subside. Allow a triumphant breath. Then this feels great. Even better than before. I put the bottle down softly and wobbled onto my feet. I looked up at the door. Leave. I guess I better go out there. I don't want to make him angry, and there doesn't seem to be a better choice. I chewed my lip as I held the doorknob. There's no better choice. I cracked the door open and came out meekly. He was standing between me and the door out of the apartment. I looked at the chair, my prison, and I sat down. Thanks for doing what I said. He mumbled something very quietly about tape. Oh, he held up the roll of duct tape. It's like, no, I'm not using your... use that for fixing cars. I feel like I might be getting somewhere on his good side. So I held my arms to the arms of the chair for him. He paused for a moment. He wrapped the tape around my arms. He seemed to be careful to do it gently, Once he was done, he leaned back and walked away. I need to go out now. I'll be back later. So I guess maybe rest, okay? I nodded to him, but I didn't think he even saw me. He moved quietly to leave the apartment. I couldn't see him leave behind me. I sat in the chair alone and left to silence again. Just the sound of muffled neighbors, distant car horns, and the soft hissing of the humidifier. I rested my eyes and slipped into a deep sleep. My heart was pounding. Was I asleep? I felt like something was at the edge of my mind, but I couldn't remember. I slowly raised from my arching head. I tried to move my limbs and found it was fully taped down again. Well, they were fully taped down again when we fell asleep. Crap. He was asleep. I took a few breaths and gathered my thoughts. What should I do? Struggle. I held my breath until I pulled against the tape. At first I felt nothing change, but something budged. Oh, he didn't do it correctly. I pulled carefully. It was the arms of the chair. They're loose. I kept pulling. The one on the left quaked and I froze. Struggle. I can do this. I just need to be really careful. I moved my arm around, twisting upwards. I could feel the arms of the chair getting looser. Creak. Crap. I gulped. The blood was pulsing in my ears. Struggle. I was shaking. I have to. I gently pull on the left arm one more time. I heard a quick pop. My arm was free. I could have used it to begin freeing my other arm. I took my time. I was able to pull up the other arm of the chair. With two free arms, it was easy to lean forward and grasp the small knife he had left on the table in front of me. I slowly and quietly cut the tape from my limbs. Time to stand. I got up slowly. I was dizzy and sore, but I was really free. I was finally free to move around, and my captor is still asleep. Get bed with him. Look at that. I need to do that answer one day. Find a better weapon. I glance over the tables in the room. There's plenty of dangerous things here. My gaze settled on his large pair of garden shears. A grin crept over my face. And karma came to knocking. How fitting. It'll be easy. I cut closer to him. My heart was hammering in my chest. Kill him. I'm sorry, it's self-defense. I approached him silently and slowly. My hands and breath became steady. I wasn't hard to hear his soft breathing. I smiled. No more hesitation. I gasped his shoulder and pulling him down flat. In the same perfect motion, I slammed the blades down on his stomach with all the force I could muster, which is not much for me. I heard a soft sound of the blade slicing into his flesh and organs. I was surprised at how easy the shears went into him. He looked like he was trying to make a sound. Shh. I twisted the blade silently, earning a pained gasp. Remember, he said we have to be quiet. I watched his blood seep into his wound. He was shaking. I leaned down close. I wanted to watch this. He moved his mouth again, trying in vain to say something, but he only managed a cracked sob. I locked eyes with him. I wrenched the shears deeper. I panted over his body. It felt pretty good. You survived. You killed Lawrence instead. The flowers are really pretty. Lawrence scoffed. They're pretty. He looked over at some of his flowers. Flowers are liars. Kind of rhymes. And, what do you mean they're liars? And why do you have them? They're liars. I'm just saying. I must have been giving him a questioning expression because he looked at me and then explained for their big, colorful display made to trick insects into helping them reproduce or feeding them. Yeah, I'll give you that. But it also helps the ecosystem in a nutshell, so not really liars. And they don't have, thought like us to say, to be considered a liar. They're not honest about what they want. Being attractive to get their way. Kind of like you. What do you mean, kind of like me? Why would I lie to you? I continued. You have me taped to a chair. Lawrence. I'm a real person, and you kidnapped me. I can't even move. You literally take me in a chair. You're in control here, okay? I'm not going to lie. Stop it. I froze. Stop talking to me. Like I'm crazy. Okay, I love the animation right here. Lawrence? Something about him seemed different. Yeah, he looks like he's gonna, kill me, but be fair, he's gonna kill me no matter what. I think there's only like 2 or 3 good ends of him. And you already got one. Something about the whole room seemed different. He stopped and looked right at me. I must have been recalling. Right. You're scared, aren't you? I felt chill. He was looking at me in a way that made me feel tied up like an animal. Well, we are definitely tied up. So you're not wrong on that. But I'm tied up like a human who has a psycho that kidnapped us. He came close to me, over me. You don't want to die, do you? No, definitely not. I shivered as he touched my face and shook my head quickly. But everyone dies. I know you haven't seen the river. What river? It's all right. I've seen it and am still scared. Scared just like you. All the time. Is that why you, don't like being with people and you tend to stay up until night? I'm asleep until night. I squirm endlessly. You have every right to be terrified. There's monsters in the dark. I think I'll change it to some of the monsters. Oh wait, they want to kill us too. Ha ha. Every day I dream about dying. So every day I stay awake. I see more in the dark. And there's so much to be afraid of. He touched my neck, caressing me softly. It should have been a reassuring gesture, but it wasn't. Because he's kinda gone completely batshit insane. You're sweet and bright. I guess I picked you before you were supposed to fall. I suppose that's the way life is. He ran his fingers over my neck more firmly. I couldn't move away from him. He's still full of warm flesh and blood. But what's underneath? Oh, you're definitely gonna find out. Even if I don't want to. I want you to. Please stop! I'm going to kill you nicely. The right way. Like how hunters kill rabbits or farmers kill chickens. But I'm not a hunter. And there's nothing anyone can do to stop me. I don't think people could stop a hunter too, but I'll take the hunter. Especially if it's Amadine. I'll go in the pile of them. I don't want to kill you like that. I want to peel away your layers and unwind your strings. Oh, you want my entails? Okay. I choke on a sob. I'll pull every part of you and spread you out. Watch your blood and feel the warmth spill out of you. Why don't you do it to yourself? You said you wanted to die. You'd be perfect, beautiful mess. Broken, ruined, dead. And all mine. No. My protest was cut off by Lawrence shoving a cloth into my mouth and taping it down. I tried to scream as he leaned back, looking me over appreciatively. Don't worry, you don't have to do a thing. You won't even have to breathe for much longer. Oh, yeah, I'll see you in a heck. I'll see you in hell, and I'll get Imp to take him down. He turned this chair I was bound to. I was shaking and sweating. Retrieve a small knife. I really see the beauty in the world. Do you now? You have to have some patience. I'm like, do you now? Because you literally call flowers liars. Ugh. I don't shriek or cry. I kept shaking as he made a small cut. I stared in horror as it continued. More tiny cuts. I strained, sobbed, and drooled into the rag stuffed in my mouth. He meticulously carved the lines in my flesh, peeling away strips of skin. I mourned the true death of misery. And he looks happy. I felt like an eternity as I tried to beg him to just kill me. But I couldn't speak through the gag. I was sure he wouldn't have listened. I could do nothing but wait in unwielding agony as he peeled me apart. My head dropped lower, but I could still hear him. His breath breathed evenly, calmly. He was even humming softly. I didn't have the strength to cry or even flinch. And finally, blissfully, I ran out of enough blood to stay conscious. He died. Lawrence stopped holding back. Might as well let him cut. I froze. He pressed the knife through my skin. I could only feel the same tingling sensation and the light pressure of the knife. It sank deeper into my wrist, and I knew it would be hurting. But I was just watching, transfixed. He was breathing slowly and evenly as he carefully pulled the blade along my largest vein. That's not good. I don't like being cut. I watched my blood well up, flowing around my wrist, and then drip quietly into the bucket below. I still want to know what he actually is. Is he human? We both watch as a dark liquid seeped out of me. He seemed to be relaxed by it, like he likes blood. I felt somewhat detached. Like, could he just be like a nurse or doctor if he likes blood so much? It was surreal. Was this really happening? The flow began to slow as I breathed more rapidly. He turns back. He felt my cold hand, then moved to take my arm. I pushed the knife over my undamaged wrist. Let him cut. I closed my eyes and breathed. Are you ready? No. I nodded slowly, smooth by his drowned voice. He dripped the still wet blade into my wrist, finding my vein easily. Somehow the sensation and the vision of my life's blood pouring out of me didn't bother me anymore. I looked up lazily and saw him over me, mumbling barely audible encouragements. It's easy. The dripping. I breathed faster and faster. Cold, boring. Was he talking to me? So lovely. Canvas is perfect. Wow, a soft sound as my head slumped. I could still hear the dripping, but it got quieter and he bent and whispered next to my ear. I seen the river. It's beautiful. You're dying. Oh, it's a different cutscene. Well, actually, where am I? I spun around just like it looked. I spun around, but it looked the same. Hello? Nothing. Total silence. I realized I didn't feel any pain or move any either. Just a jump hole of the shallow water around my calves. I remember him saying something about the river. I looked down at the gray water, but there wasn't any shore or edge. It seemed to go on forever. Wander. I picked a direction and walked. The scenery never changed. There was no silhouette or any horizon. Just the pool of the river. Wander.
Okay, I found this on the web for Never Change. There's no silhouette or any horizon, just a pool of the river. Check it out.
Thank you, Siri. Thank you. I picked up the direction and walked. The scenery never changed. There was no silhouette or any horizon. Just the pool of the river. Wander. I picked the direction and walked. The scenery never changed. There's no silhouette or any horizon. Just the pool of the river. Lie down. I looked at the water and lay down on it. I floated easily. My body was carried with the current in a direction I could feel but not see. Why was I here again? I didn't remember where I was before. It doesn't matter. It feels nice. It's beautiful. Okay, that is nice. Though, dying not really. Okay, I'm gonna let him cut me again. Let him cut me. I froze. He pressed the knife through my skin. I jerked and gasped as pain shot up my arm. He gripped tight and painfully around my wrist. Shh. He chose to feel this. The rest of my body shook, but he held my arm perfectly still and kept raking the knife through my flesh. It hurts like a fire, and I squirmed innocently, but I couldn't stop watching. He was breathing slowly and evenly as he carefully pulled the blade from my largest vein. He paid no attention to my whimpers or tears streaming down my face. I saw my blood well up over my shaking wrist, then falling into the bucket below. We both watched the dark liquid sweep out of me. He seemed to be relaxed by it. I felt somewhat detached. It was surreal. Was it really happening? The flow began to slow as I breathed more rapidly. He felt my cold arm, then moved to take my arm. He positioned the knife over my undamaged wrist. Now I'm gonna pull away. Pull away. Please! I pulled my arm away from him weakly. Lawrence! I begged. I'm scared. No. He paused. You want to see it happen? See what happened? I'll show you. He held up a small glass bottle. But you have to drink this. I took it and gulped. Of course, more of that. I looked down and my bleeding wrist, finally feeling a bit dizzy. Fine. He nodded and held the bottle to my lips. I took a deep breath and drank it. How do you feel? I tried to answer, but I just made a strange gasp. I was losing control of my mouth. My head began to fall apart. I didn't like the way everything was moving around me. Lawrence apparently sensed my distress because he leaned forward to hold me and keep me still. It's okay, I can understand you anyway. I heard a soft, ripping sound as he cut the tape off my arms. He leaned over to free my legs as I realized I couldn't move any part of my body at all. There we go. Something nagging at the back of my mind was telling me that I should be afraid. Oh, we definitely should be afraid. Instead, I felt comfort and warm as he wrapped his arms around my body to lift me up. Everything was moving again. Just a moment, YN. Something solid pressed against my back. See? What's happening? I just began to register that it was on the floor touching me when he knelt over me. No more moving after this. Don't worry. I felt a rush of relief. He was spreading my arms to the side. You're really pretty. It was kind of hard to keep track of his movements. You're like the last day of summer. I could feel his touching my arms. Oh, their senses were blurry, but his touch was clear. People aren't just red inside. Oh, I know, and it tickles blue until air hits it. His voice was even more gentle. There's purples, oranges, yellows, just like leaves. Technically, that's fall. I felt a tiny prick in my arm, then a searing pain. Panic came rushing back to me as I found myself unable to struggle to move away from the slicing. I couldn't even look, but pain was explosive and overwhelming. What was he doing? I have to be very gentle. He's taking organs out now. I watched his concentrating face as he began to pull something from my arm. The way he held it, my fevered mind imagined it was some kind of snake or a string. I think it's called muscle. They all lead all over and around, always to your heart. His hands were stained with blood. He was so calm. It was my vein, wasn't it? Oh, that's worse. Soft red roots. Technically, it's blue until your butthole cut me open. I felt the same pain sear through my other arm. I want to shine right through them. What? It was getting harder to understand him. I'm going to make that moment just one moment in time. You'd be so delicate. The room was spinning. Your roots and leaves just starting to decay. His words were blurring together, and I thought I could hear wind through trees. Just like the last day of summer. You died. You became art. So this time I had to actually name myself Rose and go back to this to go do this. Get in bed with him. I know I should probably leave or something, but I looked at him in the bed. He really doesn't look scary like that. The bed is small, but it looks comfortable. I rubbed my itching arms. Something was telling me this was a bad idea. But where have all my good ideas gone me late anyway? Well, they've gone us here, and we've already died, so. I gently pulled up the blanket and crawled in next to him. As I nestled in next to him, and his warmth, he began to move. He jumped back from me a little. It's just me. He looked at me in disbelief. He started to turn red. What are you doing? Can I touch you? He stared hard at me. He looked like he was trying to decipher some foreign language. He is. He definitely is. I pressed my body against him to demonstrate, and gasped in surprise at finding him. Already. He grabbed my arms and shifted on top of me so quickly that I was disoriented for a moment. He was breathing hard, pinning me tightly under him. I didn't know what to say. I'm not going to let you go now. Let you go. What? You're going to die here. I know the words should have bothered me more, but something about his tone sounded like he was trying to convince himself rather than me. So it doesn't matter what we do now, right? He seemed surprised. That must have been it. He narrowed his eyes, making up his mind. I gasped again as he grabbed my clothing. He quickly pulled away just enough to enough. I didn't know when I fell asleep. I felt I slept well for the first time since meeting him. I woke up with a start. Deja vu. I woke down. Why was I in the chair again? When did he move me? Did last night even happen? My head felt fuzzy. I don't know what to do. There's something about you. Something I can't. Was he shaking? Everyone I met, I wish they'd just die faster. But you? Have you ever heard of soulmates? Yes. Wasn't sure if he wanted to reply. He continued before I had much time to think about it. The idea that there's someone out there meant for you, it's comforting, isn't it? Someone who'd love you no matter what. I think it's a beautiful fantasy, but fantasies aren't real. You know it doesn't work like that, don't you? People are temporary. But people love each other too. Just threads passing each other. There's no force in the world that will hold you close to me. Now that I met you, I know I need you. And I have to hold you close to myself. Do you understand? No, definitely don't. I squirm in the chair. Something was wrong, very wrong. He took something from the table. Just one last drink. Okay. Words! He pressed the cup into my lips, forcing the liquid down my throat before I could voice any more protest. The foul taste brought tears in my eyes as I sputtered and coughed. Please! Shh, it's okay. I'll take care of you. Very good care of you. Wrong. Something's wrong. Well, there's nothing wrong. Okay, there's something wrong with him, but this seems perfectly in character. I can't feel my... No, I can't... I can feel it's coming back. The dull H advanced on me like a train. It slammed through me as a searing agony flared all over my body. I opened my eyes, but I couldn't scream. Oh, no, don't move. He stopped to brush my slicked hair from my face. I'm not done yet. My legs! My arms! Shh, calm down, okay? More bitter liquid was poured in my mouth. Stop. I realized dully that my eyes were open again. There you are. He patted me softly. My arms and legs. I couldn't think. I waited in the haze of drugs and far away pain. It's all right. It's okay. He kept petting me. I'll fix our problem. For us running away? Blood. Now nothing can take you from me. My arms and legs. I'll take care of you. They're gone. Forever. You survived. Lawrence kept you with him. This time after 3 struggles, we struggle again. I steel myself. I don't have a choice. I wrenched my arm as hard as I could, feeling a release. However, my blood ran cold as I realized the tape had made a loud ripping sound. Ugh. Oh no. No. I went down to my free arm in panic. Should I try to replace the tape? But I only have one free hand. My dilemma was interrupted by a hand slamming down on my wrist, only with a vice-like grip. I woke up with a strange yelp. Is it the middle of the day? It's the middle of the day. I wanted to say something, apologize, anything. But my brain wasn't forming words. I was wincing. He was a lot stronger than he first appeared to be. He squeezed harder for a moment before letting go. These are a problem. He turned to dig around. Before I could find my voice relax, what he was doing, he turned back to me. Oh, no. Lawrence! He squinted coldly at me for a moment before retrieving his tape in a small cloth. This was a mistake. I tried to yell, but it was cut off by him shoving the cloth into my mouth and roughly slapping a piece of tape over it. He stopped to look over my panicked form, seeming to calm down slightly. I tried to shriek as he held down my free arm and positioned the saw just below my elbow. Uh-oh. The scene became blurry as tears filled my eyes, and he made the first stroke, tearing through my skin. I screamed endlessly into the makeshift gag, trying to tear my arm from his grip. He held me down firmly and worked on my arm quickly. I felt like I was choking, struggling to breathe. I began to feel dizzy as I watched his muscles tense from the effort of sawing through my bone. I realized in the haze of blinding pain that he was holding my severed arm. He placed it gently on the ground and looked back at me in my eyes. "You're in pain." He said it like he was describing some small miracle of nature, like finding a butterfly cocoon. I looked up at him dully, trying to move my hand and only feeling pain. I know it hurts now. He moved to position the saw over my remaining arm. But it's just natural. My body managed to somehow renew its panic as he moved the saw again. I helplessly shuddered and sobbed as he tore through the flesh. I felt a small wave of relief as I began to go numb. He held my other arm. My blood spattered all over his body. You're dripping. Am I? My arms were cold. My arms. I'll take the rest of you somewhere pretty. That sounds nice. I felt my head drop. I'll find you again. In the dark. You died. Lawrence took your hands. And her life. This time I'm gonna pull away from when he's trying to drain her blood. I jerk my wrist away from him. Stop! Don't. He tightened his grip painfully and spoke in a quiet tone, dripping with fret. Don't fight me, YN. Your path. I'm guiding it now. Can you understand? I looked back at him, unable to find my words. I was shocked at his sudden change in demeanor. He worked the knife back to my skin. Well... Scream. I screamed as loud as I could. Maybe someone could hear me before... His hands clapped over my throat with so much force that the chair almost tripled backwards. For a moment, we both felt... both still and silent. I heard a muttered thumping from above, accompanied by a muffled voice of an older man upstairs. Shut the crap up. Lawrence's hand was still on my neck. Sorry, Mr. Dunce. Sorry, Mr. Davison. It won't happen again. He gripped tight and I was beginning to see spots. Will it? I tried to shake my head, even though I could barely move it. With one last warning squeeze, he let go of me. I squeezed and coughed, trying to suck in air quickly. Guess we can't do this the slow way. He kicked the bucket closer to the chair between my legs. You're just too much of a problem, aren't you? He grabbed the back of the chair and tilted me forward over the bucket. The chair creaked from being on only 2 legs. I let out a frightened whimper. He flipped the knife in his hands and suddenly slammed it between my ribs. I tried to scream from the pain, but I could only make a choked gurgle. He held the chair as it shook and looked up at him in shock. He tore the knife sideways and yanked it out of my flesh. My horrified gaze sank downward to the slow river of red slipping down my chest, between my legs and dripping into the bucket. I finally managed to cough, but it was just more blood. I couldn't work my lungs. Fuzzily, I thought to myself, that probably is for the best. You died. Lawrence bled you out. Leave the apartment. Now's my chance. I'm getting the crap out of here. Getting out of Dodge. I tiptoed towards the door. Okay. I looked over the door. Why are there so many locks? Because he's paranoid. He had this unusual apartment sliding chain. Another larger one that seemed the same style that looked like he screwed it on himself. Which one? Probably technically has more. Oh, yes, one's the one he screwed on himself. Well, one of these two. A servo lock. Multiple locks. The normal doorknob. One I might don't even recognize. My brow furrowed at the padlocks. A quick look in the nearby plants revealed the keys. I chewed my lip and set to work on them, trying to be completely silent. I managed to move the chains with barely any sound. I think it's gonna still hear it. What the heck is this guy so afraid of? I gently opened the padlocks. The guy can punch like a hammer, and he's clearly crazy. I scowled as I fiddled with one of the several locks. It's like he's afraid of the frickin' boogeyman. Maybe he's afraid of Kane. Click. Crap. Or, stride. I spun around, checking on Lawrence. He didn't move. I let myself breathe again. Just this last lock. Ugh. My face was slammed into the door from behind. What? I'm gonna say Lawrence instead because I think Juan. Law from One Piece. Trafalgar Law. His usual detached look was gone. He was fully focused. I froze in fear, doing nothing as he lunged for me. My head spun as I was thrown to the ground. I groaned in pain, but was cut off by a heavy slam on my back. The breath was knocked out. The breath was knocked out of me. The air was knocked out of me. I curled defensively, trying to catch my breath. Please! He kicked me sharply in the gut. I couldn't move. I curled further, trying to gasp. Then he was on top of me, twisting me and pressing my front to the floor. He grabbed the blade I dropped. Lawrence! Even my voice sounded broken. I choked out another gasp as he grabbed a fistful of my hair and yanked my head backwards. I whimpered. My whole chest was off the floor. He pulled my head back so hard that my spine ached painfully. Then I felt the cold metal press against my throat. No! I felt the warm liquid pour down my chest before I felt the pain. You died. Lawrence caught you. So this time we have to accept his drink. Drink his drink. Accept all his tea, and drink the bottle labeled numb. I narrow my eyes at the bottle. If it hurts less, I can think more clearly. If I think clearly, maybe I can get out of here. I popped the top of the bottle, half expecting it to be like water. I was surprised by how strong flowery fragrance. Well, of course he has flowers. Of course there's no dosage instructions. I drank all of it. Pretty much everything for adults is like a tablespoon though, right? I gathered my courage and took a small sip. It didn't have much of a flavor, but after a surprisingly short few minutes, my pain began to subside. A loud, triumphant breath. This feels great! Even better than before. I put the bottle down sloppily and wobbled onto my feet. I looked at the door. Leave. I guess I better go back out there. I don't want him to be angry, and there doesn't seem to be a better choice. I chewed my lip as I held the doorknob. There's no better choice. I creaked the door open and came out meekly. He was standing between me and the door out of the apartment. I looked at the chair, my prison, and I sat down. Thanks for doing what I said. My head fell to my chest. I felt like my stomach was trying to turn upside down. My head! My head! What's wrong? What's wrong? I'm gonna take a guess and say the plants are being fed blood. Oh my god. And he's definitely not human. Stop! You seem uncomfortable. I can't. Stop. Ryan. Is he in Winnebago? You look like you've seen something awful. No. You died. You swallowed too many. Instead of struggling on the second night, the second time you do this, I should just rest. There's no point in struggling now. I'm much too tired anyway. I tried to relax and forget about the nightmares. I tried to forget about this nightmare too. Eventually passed out again. I woke up with a start. Deja. I went down and groaned. My head felt so fuzzy. I don't usually like being close to anyone. A long silence stretched out as he looked down at the ground. He suddenly took a step closer, startling me. I do like how he gets kind of from normal look, gets more dismayed as the days go on. He suddenly took a step closer, startling me. You're different. You draw me in. He was staring at me intently. I couldn't look away until I felt a soft touch on my knee. He was gently tracing some shape on my leg. Lawrence? I whispered cautiously. He seemed to be focusing intently on whatever he was doing. He drew me in. He repeated himself, like a moth. I gasped as he moved again, sitting on my lap and straddling me in the chair. He was heavy on my legs, but I didn't want to make a sound. I didn't want to interrupt him for some reason. At this time, I was trapped here. He never touched me like this. I stared in disbelief, and he pressed himself against me. I could hear his heavy breathing. I wondered to myself if I should struggle or make some sort of sound. The decision was made for me as I felt his hand on the back of my head and a squeak involuntarily. Shh. He was petting me, running his fingers through my hair. You're soft. He lowered his head right next to mine and whispered in my ear. Warm and soft. His hand crept under my shirt and stopped to lay flat against my chest. You're pulsing under your shell. I'm not even pronounce it. Well, a quiet sigh and rubbed his face in the crook of my neck. I shivered slightly at the feeling of his light stubble. I need to be closer. My brows furrowed slightly. Could he possibly? I yelped loudly in shock as I felt a sharp point below his hand on my chest. I panicked and tried to look down, but he was still pressed against me. I began to struggle and tried to ask what he was doing. But by the time I opened my mouth, the pain on my stomach became too much, more tense, and I could only let out a panicked scream. He leaned back quickly, and clapped a hand over my mouth. You have to be quiet. I was finally able to look down. I made another muffled whimper of horror as I saw a small blade press into my skin, already bleeding. Shh. I could feel hot tears filling my eyes. My stifled begging was ignored as he looked intently at my bleeding wound. He pushed the blade in deeper, and I screamed harder into his hand. No, don't interrupt. He was panting. I need you to be silent for this. He reached behind himself to the roll of tape on the table. Duct tape? Oh, no, not the freaking tape. I tried to scream again, but he was cut off by him slapping the tape quickly over my mouth. I saw between the tape as he fell back into his position around my sleeping gut wound. It's okay, that's okay. He looked at my face for a moment, tilted his head slightly, and then ran a finger over the stem of tears on my cheek. Perfect. He licked his fingers and smiled to himself. May I? What? I stared at him, trying to decipher what he was asking. Whatever it was, he apparently wasn't going to wait for permission. He pushed his finger into the wound, and I doubled forward, staying against the tape in agony. My eyes widened in horror as he pressed his fingers deeper. He moaned softly as his entire hand entered my body. Ugh. I could feel it. He was half whispering, half sighing the words. Perfect and incomplete in your shell. I wanted back out. I couldn't handle this. I tried closing my eyes to at least spare myself the image of him digging deeper into my entrails. Without looking, I began to unwillingly focus on the feeling. Above the searing, blinding pain in my abdomen, I could feel a couple of other unsettling sensations. I could feel warmth suddenly shudering against me, his heavy breath cooling on the tears streaming down my neck. I felt a sticking, disgusting pressure inside. I dizzily glanced down. He was up to his elbow. The whole scene blurred for a moment as I comprehend him reaching up for my organs. My muffled sobbing, frantic panting, and his ragged breathing was interrupted by his voice. I found it. My ears were starting to hiss as my vision began to darken. I found you. He squeezed it softly and it stopped breathing. He died. Lawrence got closer. Okay, I'm gonna let him cut me. Again. I froze. He pressed the knife through my skin. I jerked and gagged as Pain shot up my arm. His grip tightened painfully around my wrist. Shh. You're choose to feel this. I realized I was shivering. I felt so cold and weak. My head slumped down. I couldn't keep my eyes open. YN. His voice sounded so far away, and the cold was starting to feel uncomfortable. I'll just rest for a bit. Cold. I'm cold again, and I hear birds. Okay, he definitely is a Winnebago. We're displaying some stuff. I can't move. I use my tiny amount of strength to look around myself. Oh god, no. Somebody. I was naked and tied. Ropes and bones. Something bones all over me. Are they human? Why? I could hardly struggle. I was too weak. I shivered against the tree I was bound to. No. So many things. Ugh. He painted lines over me. Something sweet and sticky. Insects were all over it, crawling, biting. I used what little strength I had left to scream. No human came. Only more scavengers. You died, you were taken to the woods. I wonder what he is. Is he a Winnebago? Now we're just gonna lock the door on him. Lock the door. The door locks from the inside. Maybe I can wait him out. I tried to turn the lock carefully, but it still made a loud click. My heart was pounding. YN? I kept holding the doorknob, beginning to sweat. I heard his footsteps. I gasped as the door shook in my grip. Come out, YN. I can't give in. I can wait him out. I turned around and pressed my back to the door. Oh, it goes down. YN. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang. Give up. I heard a loud crack and was only aware for a second I was flying forward, my head colliding with the edge of the tub. What? My head hurt. I couldn't move, didn't want to open my eyes. Rushing water. Water? I couldn't breathe. What's happening? I tried fighting, crawling. I could tell I was underwater. But Lawrence's iron grip tightened around my throat. Was barely letting it in my windpipe. The last few bubbles I had scraped my lips as I was flashing. My flashing grew weaker. No! My chest burned as I heaved, trying desperately to suck in the water around me. I couldn't do anything. You died. Lawrence held you under. Okay, this time again, we're gonna lock the door. And let him. Maybe up to like a halfway point. There. Give up. I can't do this. I'm coming out. I heard him step away from the door. He didn't say anything. I squeezed my eyes shut and unlocked the door. I step out slowly, looking around. Where? Ah! He twisted my arm behind me and pinned me to the wall. Quiet. He pressed his body against mine harshly, wrenching my arm painfully. I wheezed softly, unable to take a breath or speak. My struggle was only punctured by his ragged breathing. It was right next to my ear, in my neck. I kept still, hoping he would calm down. He began to pull away. I took a deep breath, only to have it knocked out of me by a sharp blow to my ribs. I crumpled to the floor, clenching my side. My mind was screaming at me to apologize. I choked out a sob. Ew. My terror and frustration bubbled up. What kind of person does these things? What kind of monster? That's not mentally well, that's for sure. Are you on there? What are you? I almost shouted the question desperately. I looked up at him and was surprised to see her expression. Winnebago? What am I? It's always what? He spoke bitterly. Well, what do you think I am, a Winnebago? I jumped at him, suddenly raising his voice. He lunged forward and grabbed my arms. What? A vampire, a witch, some sort of necromancer? A Winnebago. Might be the fact that I'm wearing an Alistair t-shirt. I keep saying this. I heard it all before. I just looked at him, mouth closed. I didn't want to agitate him anymore. Oh no, Johnny the homicide maniac? Okay, you're probably right on that one. I'm down and release my arms. Maybe I am a monster. I'm sorry. He gripped my chin harshly. Of course you are. I just stuttered out more apologies as he ran his other hand around my face and down my neck. They're always sorry. I gasped. He suddenly pushed me backwards. The chair tipped back and I hit the floor with a thud that knocked the wind out of me. After I make them sorry. Please don't. He slapped my heel down my chest with full force. I felt something in my chest break. I couldn't breathe. I could pulse on the floor, still bound to the chair, tears streaming down my face. He watched for a moment without a sheer of pity. I gathered up a tiny bit of air into my lungs, desperate, despite how agonizing the effort was. And I used it. You are a monster. This time the blow came down on my neck. You died. You lost it. Okay, now we're gonna lock the door again. And just wait again for the prompt. And as soon as I can. I can't do this. I'm coming out now. I'm coming out. I heard him step away from the door. He didn't say anything. I squeezed my eyes shut and unlocked the door. I stepped out slowly, looking around. Where? Ah! He twisted my arm behind me and pinned me to the wall. Lawrence! Quiet! He pressed his body against mine harshly, wrenching my arm painfully. I wheezed softly, unable to take a breath or speak. I struggled, was only punctured by his ragged breathing. Okay, only thing it knocked me out was by a sharp blow to my ribs. I got out a sob. Oh, this again. Lawrence? Something about him seemed different. Something about the whole room seemed different. He stopped and looked right at me. I must have been recalling. Right. You're scared, aren't you? I felt chill. He was looking at me in a way that made me feel tied up like an animal. He came closer to me, over me. You don't want to die, do you? I shivered. He touched my face and shook my head quickly. But everything dies. I know you haven't seen the river. It's all right. I sing it and I'm still scared. Okay, this time we're gonna say I've seen the river. What? I looked down at my lap. Have I? For some reason, when he said the river, I could picture it. I've been there. I was nearly whispered. I was nearly whispering. What was I talking about? I didn't feel like I was lying. was no color. There was no edge, no shore. I didn't understand what I was saying, yet I could picture it so easily as a clear memory. Was this some sort of dream? I have to convince him I knew it. My voice was rising with desperation. It felt like nothing. It was like waking up. I looked up at him, finally seeing something completely different. Yes, like waking up. Like the whole world and the people in it are just some nightmare. I didn't think, there was anyone else. I looked at him empathetically. You're not alone. Not anymore. I used to regret coming back. I didn't even mean to. I just wanted to stay there. But I accidentally started dreaming again, I guess. Maybe it won't be so bad this time. I looked at him as if weight had been lifted up from his shoulder. Maybe we can have some fun in this world. I really like that. He grabbed the knife and knelt to cut me free. I stood shakily. I stumbled forward into his arms. We held each other for a long moment. Our hearts were beating. We both knew the truth. We have each other now, and the whole world dying all around us. You survived. You both know the truth. I'm gonna scream this time. I'm gonna skip through the dialogue we have. I couldn't think. My vision wavered for a moment. Keeping you here isn't working. I gulped watching him. He seemed to be thinking hard. Would you like to leave this place? I wanted to answer, but I couldn't think. I couldn't. I tried to move. Open my eyes was a mistake. Everything moving. I thought I recognized the mumble of a car's engine. Oh, what is he doing? But I couldn't focus. I woke up from the feeling of something cold hitting me. I was laying. Something cold. My head hurts. Shriek. Something hit me again, or fell on me. I tried to open my eyes more. Clear my head. Dirt. I'm outside. Shriek. Oh my god. He's burying me. I began to panic, trying to move my muscles. I could barely move. My head. I strained, fear of my life driving me to move my limbs slightly. I grunted from the massive effort it took just to move my arm. I froze in fear. Are you awake? I closed my eyes and lay still. Maybe he won't. My eyes shot open as the wind was knocked out of me. He jumped down in the hole on top of me. I coughed and tried to plead for my life, but he stomped on my chest before I could get anything meaningful out. You're an endless fountain of problems. I was gonna say, if he buries us alive and doesn't try to kill us beforehand, we might be able to get out. He brought it down to my neck. You died. Lawrence buried you. Okay, we're gonna go back and get in bed with him again. Because why not? I know I should probably leave or something, but I look at him in bed. He really doesn't look scary like that. It's like, why not? So we're just gonna skip. He looked at me in disbelief. He blinked a few times. Then something changed in his face, from surprise to anger. What? He quickly rolled over me and wrapped his hands around my neck. I was too weak and tried to fight him tired to fight him at all. His weight on me and the tight grip on my throat were such a strange contrast with the warm and soft bed sheets. Maybe I just didn't want to fight him anymore. You died. You startled Lawrence. I think we had to make ourselves a little crazy, so let him cut. I closed my eyes and breathed. Are you ready? I nodded slowly, smoothing by his young voice. He dripped the still wet blade into my wrist, finding my vein easily. Somehow the sensation and the vision of my wife's blood pouring out of me didn't bother me anymore. I looked up lazily and saw him over me, mumbling barely audible encouragements. It's easy, it's easy. The dripping. I breathed faster and faster. I breathed faster and faster. Cold, boring. Was this he talking to me? So lovely. Okay, this is perfect. I let out a soft sound of my head slumping. I could still feel the dripping, but it got quieter as he bent and whispered next to my ear. I could see the river. It's beautiful. You died. You can't see the river. Okay, now I'm gonna rest on day 2. There's no point struggling now. I began to grow even more concerned. He always seemed kind of bitter, but he really looked fed up now. Because he wants to go and stab us. He turned away from me without a word. He returned with a small plastic cup full of liquid. He shoved it in front of my face. Drink it. Drink it. Ugh. It smelled terrible, but at this point, what should I do? What could I do? I went down at the cup with disdain and opened my mouth. Maybe it will make it hurt less. He suddenly tilted the cup at my lips and I drank the liquid. It tasted a bit better than it smelled, at least. He watched me intently, leaning back against the table, fondling the empty cup. I was wondering what he was waiting for, just as my fingers began to tingle. Lawrence was... I tensed up as the tingling began to spread over my arms and legs. It came more intense and then painful. Oh God! It's not very nice, is it? I launched and strained against the tape in the chair as I felt like my veins were on fire. My muscles were tensing and cramping painfully. I wanted to scream, but my tense jaw went open. We're just passing the threads. But I don't like you. And now I have the power to weave your thread wherever I want. I think you have the entire time since day 1. Or day 0. I roll my eyes up to see him, now aware of my eyes had filled with tears. I'm going to twist you around. What did he picked up shears? He looked at the large blades boredly. I'm going to make you hurt. This must be a nightmare. He leaned over my convulsing body and wrenched my jaw open. I gulped in horror as he gasped my tongue and pushed the shears into my mouth. Despite my entire body being in agony, I could still feel him cut through my tongue. My mouth was instantly flooded with my own warm, metallic blood. I couldn't move or scream. I couldn't even cough. All of my muscles were locked up. I was only vaguely aware of him swaying and leaning against the table, watching me. The blood was pouring down my airway, and there was nothing I could do about it. He just kept watching me silently as I drowned in agony in front of him. You died. Lawrence shut you up. And that was Lawrence's route. I think we have one more ending for him, but I'll have to I'm gonna do that with Rin's route because it's connected to his, apparently. So if you like my content, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, comment down below, and liking the video. I'll see you guys next time.